Nostalgia is a liar, not the cruel kind, not the kind that wounds or betrays, but the kind that lies so beautifully you'll almost thank it for doing so. The kind that turns the blurry, ordinary moments into poetry. The kind that makes you miss the days that, if you're honest, weren't even that special. Nostalgia is clever like that. It doesn't just remind you of the past, it edits it. It softens the sharp edges, replaces confusion with meaning. It tells you that your life once made sense, that you were once happier, freer, more yourself. But nostalgia is not memory. It's memory rewritten by longing. And maybe that's why it feels so safe, because it lets us visit the past without facing it. We all like to think we've grown, but most of us don't grow forward. We grow backward. We measure how far we've come by how much we miss what we've left behind. We replay old moments, old relationships, not because we want them again, but because they make us feel something we don't have in the present. We say, those were the good old days, but were they really? Or were they just the only days that made sense at the time? When I started high school, I believed life followed a script. You work hard, stay organized, and everything falls into place. I thought I could control my story, that if I tried hard enough, I'd be untouchable. But growing up doesn't happen on cue. It happens quietly, in moments no one sees, in doubts, in lonely lunches, in moments you realize that the person you're becoming isn't who you've always expected. The hardest part of life isn't losing people, it's losing versions of yourself. The confident one, the dreamer, the one who still believed that everything would work out. You don't notice it when she leaves. You just wake up one day and she's gone. And nostalgia, that sweet liar, tells you to go find her again. But what if she's not meant to be found? What if letting go of her is the only way you'll meet the person you're meant to become? We all cling to things that once defined us. A dream, an identity, a friend group. We call it loyalty, but really it's fear. Because outgrowing things feels like betrayal. But growth needs space, and space only comes from loss. You see, nostalgia and artificial intelligence have a lot more in common than we think. AI remembers everything perfectly, endlessly, without bias. It can recreate every photo, every word, every version of you, but it can't understand what any of it means. It can't feel that tiny ache in your chest when you see a picture from 3 years ago and realize how much has changed. AI remembers facts. Humans remember feelings. AI stores data. Humans store meaning. In one study done by MIT in 2023, it has been stated that even the best AI systems can recall millions of sentences and images. But when asked to interpret emotion and intent behind them, these AI systems failed over 90% of the time. Scientists call this the empathy gap, proof that memory without emotion is just storage, not understanding. And that's what distinguishes us from a machine. We forget, but we feel. Because really, we all forget. But forgetting isn't a glitch, it's grace. It's how we survive heartbreaks and endings. If you remembered perfectly, we'd never move forward. We'd live like machines, efficient, but numb. And that's what makes us human. We remember just enough to learn, but forget just enough to begin again. But nostalgia whispers, go back. Remember how it used to feel? And we listen. We scroll through old messages, we open wounds disguised as memories and call it love. But the past isn't waiting for you. It's gone. What you are missing is the people or the memories. It's the version of yourself who existed back then. And that's okay. She served her purpose. Letting go isn't a grand act. It's quiet. It's choosing not to send that text. It's walking away when history repeats itself. It's choosing peace over control. And it's not just about people. It's about stories. The stories we tell ourselves on who we should be. For years, I told myself I was meant to be a doctor. It sounded right. It sounded noble. But somewhere between the late nights and self doubts, I realized that that dream wasn't mine. It was something I was performing because it looked like success. And that's the exhausting part about living a life that doesn't fit. The weight of it isn't from the work, it's from the pretending. Letting go of that dream was terrifying, but it taught me that life isn't a monument, it's a garden. Things bloom, and then they fade, and that's how new things grow. So maybe the question isn't what do you want to hold on to, but rather what are you brave enough to release? Because the truth is, you can't grow while gripping the past with both hands. Sometimes you have to mourn the life you thought you wanted before you live the one that you're actually meant for. Nostalgia lies, but gently. It doesn't erase the past to hurt us. It softens it so we can look back without breaking. It lets us say goodbye in slow motion. And healing isn't about feeling nothing. It's about compassion. Looking back at your younger self and saying you did your best. The art of letting go is holding gratitude where regret used to live. Because life isn't about collecting things. It's about clearing space. Space to grow, space to feel, space to change your mind, and space to become. And when we stop believing nostalgia's lies, we give ourselves permission to be here, to stop chasing ghosts, to stop punishing ourselves for moving on. And you know what's beautiful? The present moment will one day become one of those memories too. The ones nostalgia will rewrite and hand back to us in soft colors. And maybe that's not something to fear. Maybe it's something to cherish. Because the fact that we can look back and ache means we lived. It means we felt deeply enough for something to matter. AI can replicate our voices, our photos, even our handwriting, but it can never replicate that. It can never replicate the fragile, aching, beautiful human capacity to let go and still hope again. Letting go isn't the end of something, it's the beginning of becoming. We don't move forward by forgetting our past, we move forward by forgiving it. Because the past isn't your home, it's your teacher. And nostalgia is just the gentle echo of a lesson already learned. Thank you.